Whoop. Good morning, just a quick one today. So I have been doing some videos recently, haven't I, about calling in your guy. And it's really interesting. I've had a couple of comments from people saying, well, what about calling in a girl? Totally, I hear that. I've worked with, I've worked with gay people in my coaching career, bisexual, lesbian, you name it. But I've never worked with any of them to help them call in their soulmate. I've only worked with women who want to call in a guy. And that's because that's my experience. And that's what is attracted towards me. And it's really interesting. And some people get a bit funny with me about it. It's a bit like, well, you know, it's kind of discriminatory that you're not helping, women call in women, for example. But it's a bit like saying to Qantas, I was saying this to my husband this morning, he laughs at me. I was like, it's like saying to Qantas, well, why don't you fly to Zanzibar? And Qantas would be like, well, like we're an aeroplane and we could, but I don't think they have quite the right landing strip for us. And actually we just sort of choose not to. That's not our expertise. We don't do flights like that. It's like going into Aldi and saying, why don't you have any organic milk? And they're like, well, if you want organic milk, go to Waitrose or Sainsbury's. If you're in Australia, maybe your Aldi does organic milk, and lucky you. Otherwise, you probably have to go to Woolies. But we can't be all things to all people, can we? And that applies to dating. We can't be all things to all people. When you're dating, there's one person for you. Again, we could go down the whole polyamory route. But theoretically, and for the women that I'm working with, they want to call in one person, their person, and their person happens to be a guy. And that's my experience. It's my expertise. I've worked with multiple women helping them call in their guy. If I was to try and market to all people, to cover all bases, to not be discriminatory, then I'd be exhausted and I would be doing everybody a disservice. I can only help those that I'm expert at helping. I can't help everybody. Not to say that a lot of my teachings and these videos don't apply to most, but I actually don't know for sure. But what I do know for sure is what I teach and coach, and where my experience and expertise lies is helping a woman to call in her soulmate, who is a man. So I just kind of wanted to share that. And I think for all of us in business, we have to have absolute clarity on what our expertise is. Oh yeah, and like I was saying, we're doing a disservice to try and be all things to all people. If I tried to do that, the people that I can help wouldn't be getting the best of me, because I'd be diluting my message to suit everybody, so they wouldn't be getting the strength of the purity of the message that I have, that is my expertise. And those that I'm not absolute expert at helping, well, they're definitely not going to get the best of me, because I'm not the expert. I'm not the one for them. There's coaches out there that are for them. That's great. It's not about discrimination. It's not about exclusion. It's not about having all-inclusive conversations. I just know who I can help and who I'm really, really good at helping. And what I'm realizing even more is I can help women who were me 10 years ago, who were me even 5 years ago. So that means you're probably an entrepreneurial woman. You probably have children. You're probably around the age of 40. Of course, I've helped women call in their guy who don't have kids. Of course I have. Of course, I've helped women who work in corporate. They're not entrepreneurial. Of course I have. But what I know for absolute certainty is my message and my expertise is bang on the money if you are a woman around the age of 40 who's an entrepreneur and has kids or a child. That's my expertise. Anyway, my dog has run off in the distance to go and see a little friend of his who we know, so I better head catch up. I'm sending you lots of love on this beautiful Sunday morning. And if you have a business, maybe what I've just shared is actually going to be quite helpful for you too, because we've got to niche down and we've got to know who we are and what our expertise is, right? Anywho, sending you lots of love. Bye.